I actually mentioned this book. I think it was 2 or 3 videos that I mentioned this book, and I recommended this to be a read, especially for those of us who have childhood trauma and those of us who are dealing with the aftermath of narcissistic abuse. Now, this book here, I'm going to be just reading a couple of pages. All of us who are thriving forward together, we're sharing our stories, and other people who resonate with our stories, we're bringing awareness of narcissistic abuse to everyone else, okay, who may be interested in it. But according to the buzz that I'm hearing, there are more and more people who are talking about narcissistic abuse, and they're bringing awareness of narcissistic abuse to people who may not know too much about it. So let's get on with reading some things in this book. Okay, so here's my book here. I'm going to read just a few things from it. Now, Miguel is a doctor, a counselor, and he is absolutely he is just confused about a particular client that he's seeing. It's a female client, and he's discussing a few things with one of his colleagues, Larry. Okay, so here we go. So she shakes your hand and kisses you on the cheek, but you want to pull back, Miguel. And then she starts complaining. She did a lot of splitting, seeing her husband as all bad, always complimenting me on how nice I was, how I have helped her a lot, what a nice person I am, or how she liked a particular shirt I was wearing. I felt over-idealized by her. She was putting me on a pedestal, all the while denigrating, devaluating, or tutoring. She was very childlike in her neediness, as though she was very dependent on me. She would always say, "Oh, I don't think I could ever make it without you. You are the only one who listens to me." It was excessive and suffocating too. One great way to ensure no real contact in a relationship is by excessively praising the other. It always alienates. Praise to the face is shameful. Yes, all this verbiage on her part was suffocating. It was like I didn't even feel like I was Miguel. You're right. It's like I was some sort of idealized fetish. Was she using the sessions to solicit advice and help, or more just to pour out her woes and seduce you? She was trying to use me to give her quick answers to her problems. And how did that process go? I never gave her quick answers, but she still idealized you. I kept trying to take her back to her pain, and she would cry for a brief moment and then jump on the idealization track again. So you really never had hold of her? No, I never had hold of her. She seemed to slip through my fingers, so to speak. Okay, so there was something else I found interesting as well. Here we go. Miguel. She was emotionally incested, but not so far as you know physically. No, so far as I know. Not so far as I know. She never acknowledged anything like that, but there was a lot of emotional incest. He used her as a surrogate spouse and as a source of emotional containment. That's the way she knows she exists. That's the way she knows she's important. That's herself. Her identity involves her enveloping, containing a man or someone. That's her source of existence, fusing with her other. All right, so I just wanted to read this part of the book for you guys and gals and let you know that as I read along, again, I'll just go over certain parts that I find very interesting, but I want to encourage all of my stars especially to read this book. You'll find the link to this book in the description box below with further details about this particular book.
All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to be talking about something really important, the journey of healing from childhood trauma and narcissistic abuse. It's all about understanding how the past shapes us so we can reclaim our future. And we're going to break down exactly how that works. Wow, this quote, it just hits you, right? It really gets to the heart of the matter. For so many survivors, the past isn't really in the past. It's like this shadow that follows you around, touching everything. And that feeling, that's where we're starting today. Our goal is to figure out how to step out of that shadow and into the light. So, if the shadow is so present, why is it so incredibly hard to talk about? Even with people we love and trust. That's what we're digging into first, the silence that surrounds these experiences. At the very core of it, often, is shame, a really deep, painful kind of shame. Trauma has this nasty way of twisting things around in your head, making you believe that somehow you were to blame. And that feeling of unworthiness, it becomes this incredibly heavy weight, making it feel almost impossible to speak up. And what's so wild is how these feelings on the inside start to show up on the outside. This deep sense of unworthiness can kickstart this subconscious hunt for validation. And sometimes you end up seeking it from the exact same kind of people who hurt you in the first place. It creates this frustrating cycle of unhealthy relationships, of feeling like happiness is always just out of reach. But I've got to say this loud and clear. These are not personal failings. They are completely understandable patterns. Okay, so how do these patterns actually show up in everyday life? In this next part, we're going to talk about the signs. We'll connect the dots between some of those, clinical sounding terms you might have heard and what it actually feels like to live through it. So you've probably seen lists of the formal signs, right? Things like reenacting trauma, addiction, or that feeling of brain fog where you just can't think clearly. And when you look at a list like that, it's so easy to just feel overwhelmed or broken. But here's the thing. Try to see this list not as a diagnosis of what's wrong, but as a map that shows you exactly how your mind and body figured out how to survive something unbearable. And this quote, man, it just captures the human side of it all so perfectly. It's from a therapist talking about a client who survived trauma, and you can just feel that sense of disconnection, right? Of being there in the room, but not really being reachable. That's a huge effect of trauma, that feeling that there's an invisible wall between you and everyone else. And this brings us right back to that first sign we mentioned, reenactment. This isn't something you choose to do. It's this deep, powerful, unconscious pull to try and fix the past, to finally get the safety and validation you were denied as a kid. The heartbreaking part is that so often it just leads you right back into the same kind of painful situations. So what is literally going on in your brain when all this is happening? Let's get into the science of it. But don't worry, we're going to keep it simple. It's actually fascinating stuff. First up, meet your amygdala. It's basically your brain's internal alarm system. Think of it like a super sensitive smoke detector. When it senses any kind of danger, real or perceived, it hits the alarm, and your body gets flooded with stress hormones to get you ready to fight, run away, or just freeze. Now, for trauma survivors, that smoke detector can get stuck on a hair trigger, and that's why something that seems small can set off this huge emotional response. And when that alarm goes off, it leaves these little breadcrumbs in your body. They're called somatic markers, which is really just a fancy way of saying body memory. It's that gut feeling you get, that knot in your stomach, or when your shoulders tense up out of nowhere. That's your body remembering. It's holding on to the physical memory of the trauma, trying to warn you. So while your alarm system is blaring, what happens to the CEO of your brain, the part in charge of all the logic and rational thought, the prefrontal cortex? Well, all those stress hormones basically knock it offline. And that is the brain fog we were talking about. It's why when you're triggered, it can feel absolutely impossible to think straight. Your survival brain has completely taken over. Okay, so understanding the why is huge, right? But now for the big question. What do I do about it? Let's talk about the how. We're shifting gears now into the tools you can actually use to start reclaiming your sense of self. Think of these 5 steps as your roadmap to getting your power back. It all starts with step 1, giving yourself permission to actually grieve what you lost. Then, step 2, and this is a big one, is letting go of the burden of being responsible for your abuser's feelings. Step 3 is an active choice, choosing to heal. And then 4 and 5, that's all about learning to live your life for you without apology and remembering that your story has purpose. But, and this is so important to hear, healing is not a straight line. It's not like you just go from broken to fixed. It's messy. You'll have amazing breakthroughs and you'll have really tough setbacks. And you know what? That's completely normal. A setback is not a sign of failure. It's just part of the process. All right, let's get even more specific. Here are 3 tools that experts are really focusing on right now. First, the ACE score. ACE stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. It's a simple quiz, but wow, seeing your score can be so validating. It helps you see that your struggles are a direct response to real things that happened. Second, somatic movement. This is all about helping your body process and release stress. Remember those somatic markers? This is how you start to let them go. And finally, support groups. Trauma loves to make you feel completely alone. Breaking that isolation by connecting with others who get it is a total game changer. So when you start using these tools, something really amazing starts to happen. It's not just about coping anymore. It's about actually building a new narrative, a new story for yourself. So let's talk about where this all leads, to a powerful new way of seeing yourself. Look, here's the real deal about recovery. The trauma doesn't just poof, vanish. The memories don't just disappear, that they change. The echoes get quieter. They start to lose their power over you. And as they evolve, so do you. You grow stronger, you get wiser, and you become more compassionate. And if you take away one single thing from all of this, let it be this. You are not your trauma. You are your resilience. The most important part of your story isn't what happened to you. It's the fact that you are here, still going, still healing, still choosing to move forward. That's the real story. Your identity is your strength, not your suffering. So I want to leave you with a little something to think about, a question you can journal on or just sit with for a minute. Think about it. This is a first step toward building a new relationship with yourself, one that's grounded in the compassion that you have always deserved.